Dude, it was straight up cringe.
What the hell?
I don't know. We should probably listen to that guy. He sounded like he knew what he was talking about. Can't hear you, Honky.
Great start.
Hey, big boy.
Now we can hear you. Twice.
Dumbass.
Something's wrong with his audio.
Yep.
I'm
He
your host.
done messed it up.
Mm-hmm.
Sound horrible.
I hate it.
Mordancy hates it. I don't blame him.
Hates what?
I hate it.
I've got ChatGPT hooked up to the show now.
Astroglide?
I do have a story about ChatGPT.
You do? Wait till
Yeah,
the
it's
show
a
starts.
short
I want to hear it.
yeah.
I haven't done anything with ChatGPT. So.
Neither have I. Neither have I.
The South Park episode was hysterical.
Oh, they have one?
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
I got to check that out. Well, we have virtual Honky here if we need to.
Hot steaming pile of crap.
If we need to employ him and he can't get his audio working. How about that, Honky?
No!
Okay, we'll wait for you.
Oh, that's it.
There you go. We hear you now. What was it?
Let us know how you screwed it all up.
Easily. I think a while ago I had set up a hotkey to mute myself, and I wound up hitting that by accident. All right, now this is in the beginning of the show. Welcome to episode 217 of the Linux Lugcast. We are an open podcast /lug that meets at 9 p.m. Eastern every first and third Friday of the month using Mumble. We encourage anyone listening to join us live, participate on the podcast. I can read. If you're already able to join us live during the show, you can always send us an email at feedback@linuxlugcast.com. We have a Reddit where you can post things that we talk about. There is a MUI page, I think. Nobody's checking it, so don't go there. But there's a link there all the same. We have a YouTube channel where this is getting posted, where you can see all of our beautiful faces. And who doesn't want to see that? That's the best intro I've done in a while. Almost as good as Danny's "Welcome to the Minnix
No,
podcast."
We don't have to bring that up.
Look, people were impressed by the Minnix podcast. All right,
I did not like this movie.
He didn't
we
like
haven't made it there yet. All right, I am your host for this evening, Honky Magoo. With us tonight is Joe.
That's me.
Lovecraft.
Good evening, everyone.
Do we want to introduce Lugbot? Can Lugbot introduce himself?
Yeah, he can. You want to hear from
All
Lugbot?
right, Lugbot.
Hello, shitheads.
Well, there you go. That just sets the tone for the
There
rest of the
goes
show.
our PG rating. There goes our family friendly right out the window.
Right out the window. Minnix.
Hola, cabrones. That means hello in Spanish.
Mordancy.
Sort of.
Good evening, everyone. Liquid Death,
It-
iced tea,
it-
yummy.
And Netminer.
He's muted on Mumble.
He's deaf and muted, isn't he?
Yeah, he may have some stuff going
Well,
on.
he ain't listening to you guys,
He just gave up on us.
Mhm.
right? He's like, you guys are never starting the show, so I'm going home.
Are you
Oh,
there,
we didn't ask-
Netminer?
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here.
All right, he's here.
Okay, so, movie?
Movie. The movie
Oh, what
that
about,
we watched this
Lovecraft?
last time is called.
Oh, we forgot
I introduced-
Lovecraft.
I introduced Lovecraft.
Yeah, you got me.
Oh, you did? Okay. Don't
Yeah.
listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Lovecraft, have you watched anything good recently? We didn't go through.
Nah, nothing much. I'm still working my way through season 1 of Dark Angel, and I'm about 2/3 of the way done through The Last of Us. Nothing much more than that. Been a slow couple of weeks on the TV and movie watching.
What did
Dan,
you think
are
about
you
The
caught
Last
up
of
with
Us?
The Last of Us?
Yeah. I finished it, and I'm looking forward to the next season.
Yeah,
I
I'm
wanna
really
know what you
liking
think
what I'm
about
seeing
it.
so far.
I
Yeah.
want to know what you think about Dark Angel.
I haven't watched that.
I liked it. I was aware when it was on the first time, but was never really home when it was on. I know you said season 2 is kind of a downer, but I'm really digging the first season. I really like it.
The second season is watchable, but I understand why they canceled it. It really lost a lot of its flavor. But yeah, you'll see what I mean when it comes around.
All right, I'll let you know.
Okay, on to the movie.
My Science Project. From what year was this? 1985. So
I think I picked this.
you're the one to blame.
Yeah. What do you mean?
No, it wasn't bad.
Yeah, but it wasn't good either.
It's a
Well,
typical
for
80s
an 80
movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say for an 80s movie, it wasn't bad.
It was it was extremely like generic action. The only like redeeming quality of it is it had the bad guy from Hackers in it,
And don't forget Dennis Hopper. He was great.
and Dennis Hopper.
Well,
he
Yeah,
was-
the general from War Games too. General Behringer was his,
yeah.
his dad. Yeah,
Yeah,
and one of the girls from Designing Women was his love interest.
His lover, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew she looked familiar.
so the cast
Right.
was good. That was about it for and it was just extremely generic. I think
It
that was my
was.
thing.
I think it took all the 80s sci-fi tropes and threw them together in a movie. This is what you'd get.
Yeah,
And
it
that's-
was extremely watchable. Don't
I'm
get me
okay with
wrong.
that.
It was extremely watchable. I just think it was very generic.
I liked it when the what is it, the black hole type thing happened inside the school, and it kept on changing. Was it between times or different dimensions or something? And it had been time because they had like the dinosaur and stuff too.
Yeah, but they also had future stuff and
Yep.
like weird alien things.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it's different dimensions too. Time. Well, let me go ahead and give a kind of quick synopsis so people aren't completely lost. So it starts out with, I think it's 1957. Is that right? There's an alien craft that crashes into Earth, and the military confiscates it, and I guess the top brass 5-star general comes or whatever to check it out, and he says, "Get rid of it." And so last thing you see from that time period is a laser like shooting at the ship, and I guess they're destroying it. So fast forward to 85, 85, I think. And you have a classroom with Dennis Hopper is the science teacher, which is funny because he does something in this movie that he also did in Blue Velvet. Anybody seen Blue Velvet?
Yes.
Huffing the gas.
Yeah. He pulls out a bottle of nitrous oxide and inhales it.
Oh, I thought it was oxygen.
No. So he's actually a science teacher in this movie, and he's teaching his students, and he's there's a couple of class clowns who are the protagonists of the movie, and they have a science project that's due, or else they're not going to get their diploma, according to Dennis Hopper. So they're kind of in trouble if they don't get their shit together.
Forgot the two nerds. The two nerds have to
Oh, yeah.
explain their project, and that makes everybody else look bad.
Yeah, there's two nerds, a girl and a guy. That the guy is doing some kind of Mayan calendar deal, and the girl is doing like UV rays on fungus or something.
Mold or something like that.
Yeah, so that's in the classroom, and so that the protagonists are. Do you remember their names? I don't remember their names.
Don't remember.
I don't remember any of their names.
Well, we will just say John and Roy, and they were.
Are you just making up names for characters
yeah.
now?
Yes, he
I
is.
don't remember their names. Somebody wants to help me out and look it up. That'd be great. But so John works at. He's a. He works for a mechanic when he's not at school. This is in high school, by the way, not college.
Oh,
And his buddy, I don't know what he does. He's just kind of like a hustler or something. And the teacher tells him you need to get
Michael Harlan is the main guy.
Okay.
John Stockwell played. Ellie Sawyer was the girl, and Vince Latello was his friend.
Vince and Michael. Okay. So Michael knows he needs to get something done, and then he goes out. He's leaving the campus, and the nerd girl, she has a crush on him, and she's at the exit gate, and so she takes her distributor cap off her car because she knows that Michael could fix it. And so she pretends like she doesn't know what's wrong, and Michael pulls up, and he's like, oh, distributor caps don't come off by themselves. What's really going on? She said, I don't want to be a spinster forever or whatever. Will you go out on a date with me? And earlier, Michael's girlfriend had dumped him because she's tired of going to junkyards and stuff like that. She's looking for a more cosmopolitan life, and you see her kissing her new boyfriend that apparently she got on the same day in her car in this other guy's convertible, and he sees that, and he's like, at first he doesn't want to date this nerd chick, but then he's like, well, okay, I'll do it. I'll pick you up at 8. So later on, he goes and picks her up, and they go to a junkyard, and it happens to be like a military junkyard. Is that what it is?
Like an Air Force junkyard or something.
Yeah, a bunch of old planes and stuff there. And she wants to be a journalist when she graduates. And he said, well, look, every piece here has a story. And he ends up falling in a hole in the junkyard. And down the hole is actually the pieces of the alien craft from 1957. And
it's all glowy and shit.
Yeah, it's glowy, and there's a snake on it and everything. So they grabbed which I guess would be like the main drive power source of the craft or whatever, and take off. And it looks to be one of those plasma balls. Like these were real popular in the late 80s. Like you plug them in.
Those static
Do you
electricity
guys have
balls.
Spencer's
I can't remember
Gifts?
what they're called.
Yeah,
in the mall?
Spencer's Gifts.
That looks like what they sold.
What they sold, exactly. Where
Plasma light.
Plasma light, where you touch the glass and the little electricity arcs will follow your fingers and make your handprints and stuff like that. That's all it is, but it's surrounded by like some kind of metallic looking enclosure to make it look futuristic. And so they get this alien piece of technology, take it back to the mechanic shop, to the auto shop, and hook it up to a battery, and it starts to have this weird force field comes out that apparently leads to another dimension or another time. And this Greek urn appears from, I guess, that time period. And they unhook it before anything else bad happens and put it back and stow the urn and the magic box. And they say, we got to tell somebody about this who might know about it. So he tells the girl, I believe, the nerd girl, not his old girlfriend, and they take it to the science teacher, which is played by Dennis Hopper, and they're like, check this thing out. And Dennis Hopper plays a real funny character. He's like a burned out hippie who's still like stuck in the 60s, and he calls all the cops pigs, and and he's really into like anti-war stuff. And actually, he was about to go to an anti-war protest reunion from the '60s, and so they hook up the machine for him and show it to him, and he's like, "Holy cow, this is amazing! This is like interdimensional time travel."
Wormholes, interdimensional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it burns out the battery, so they decide to hook it up to the power mains. Just plug it in straight in, and then it just starts going crazy. You see all this these waves of light come out of it, and they surround Dennis Hopper, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" And he gets all this electricity all over him, and then he just disappears,
He gets eaten by the device.
sucked into another dimension or something. They're like, "Holy crap, what are we gonna do now?" So they take off, and they see that is it traveling to? Oh, go ahead.
No, the whole thing is that they can't like pull the power out, and so for some reason they can't like throw the breaker at the school. So the whole thing is they have to run to the power plant to shut the power off from there.
Right. And when they leave the building, they see that the power, they can see the electricity traveling along the power lines from the school, and they can't stop it. And so they're like, we've got to stop this thing. So I forget, they get dynamite from somewhere. Where do they get the dynamite from?
I don't remember.
It just happened to have it. I don't know. But anyway, they said that their big plan is to attach the dynamite to one of the power poles, and
his father owns a hardware store.
And they just sell dynamite there?
Apparently, they just had dynamite there.
Okay, so they get this dynamite.
His randomly got married father.
Yes.
Yeah, who married one of the designing women, and who happens to be a beautician, and also redoes their house in pinks and floral patterns, which Michael is not cool with. But so they run to the try to outrun this power burst traveling along the power lines, and they put a bunch of dynamite around one of the legs of one of these power poles, and they turn the switch on the detonator, and nothing happens. And he's like, oh, "Damn it!" So he decided we're gonna have to hook a battery up to it and detonate it that way. So they do that. They get the battery, and there's a big explosion, and it knocks down the power poles, but the bad thing is it kind of like knocks out the power in the whole town or whatever. And the police become involved, and they go to Michael's house, I believe, where they interrogate him at his house, and they tell him he's not under arrest, but they want to know where his friend is, where the science teacher is, and all this stuff. And he I guess he doesn't really have an answer for them, but he ends up going to the police station with them, him and his friend Vinny, and the girl, the nerd girl, what's her name? Elizabeth, or did you say Ellie? Ellie, right?
Ellie, yes.
And the power outage affects the police station where they're there, so they manage to escape the police station, and they go back to the school where the device is, because it's still. How is it being powered now?
That other nerd guy showed
Oh, that's
up,
right.
because the girl was supposed to go to the school and remove the device so that the cops wouldn't find it.
Yeah.
And then the nerd guy that likes Ellie, I think his name is Sherman or whatever, shows up and sees it, and he's being a bit of a bitch.
He is. He's jealous.
Yeah. And so he's like, sees the device, and he sees how it was previously hooked up, so he's like, let me hook this up again so you guys can get in trouble all over again. And plugs it back into the wall, and crazy things start happening.
Then all hell breaks loose, and this is where like all these other dimensions open up, and not just like to the past, but to the future, and to like alien worlds, and to the prehistoric era. And so they go to the school, Michael and Vinny, and they're like, holy hell, what's going on? And they see
and they
like
team up. Ellie gets stuck in there, but Sherman comes running out, and they grab Sherman and make him go back in there to go get Ellie.
Right. And so they pass through the school, and they've got like I think at one time there was like Vietnamese soldiers that were traveling through there, and they get in a fight with them, and the American
their
soldiers.
weapons.
They free them. Yeah, they run into like a Roman gladiator or something, and he tries to kill him. And towards the end, there's like a Tyrannosaurus Rex he's an obstacle to what they're trying to do, and
there's mutates. Don't forget the mutates.
the mutates as well. Yep, there's them, and so there's all kinds of crazy. This is actually a really cool scene towards the end when they have all these different characters come in, and the school looks like a jungle, and it was probably, to me, was maybe the best part of the movie as far as like especially all the practical effects and the costumes, and the T-Rex actually looked really good. I believe that was an animatronic and not just stop motion.
It looked animatronic.
Yeah, it didn't look like stop motion.
Didn't look stop motion.
Yeah, and that was a really good effect. And so I'm not sure how they how did they stop the machine? Do you remember?
No, I don't. Weirdly, I don't remember how they stopped the machine. But they did something to disconnect it, and then it like sucked everything back into it.
Yeah, it created this wormhole above the school that looks like a tornado or something, and
then
somehow they stopped it, and then everything got sucked back into their appropriate dimensions, I guess. And
then Dennis Hopper got spit out.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper comes out and he's got a mustache on.
I went back in time. I had all those peace rallies.
He went back to the 60s and was. He said the future is going to be amazing because of whatever he did. I'm not sure what he did, but and then I guess Ellie and Michael kind of hook up after that, and the last scene is like Michael, he's in his car or he's at his car on the side of the road or something.
The car died again.
Yeah,
and to spark off the electricity that the original machine had, that they just put back in the Air Force, junkyard.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that part. Yeah, they took it back to where they got it from. So it just kind of ends like that. So that's a synopsis of the movie. So, but I think Joe, what Joe said is pretty accurate. There wasn't anything outstanding or like truly trend-setting about the movie, but I think it was definitely, to me, it was enjoyable, and it was a nostalgia trip of the 80s, and I'm not sure I would call it a tech movie. I guess it had alien technology in it, which was this hyperdrive that they got from the spaceship. But I liked the actors. I thought, especially the dad and Dennis Hopper, I thought was great in it. But I'm surprised I had never seen this before. For sure this would have been a movie that I would have been totally into as a kid, in the 80s, growing up in the 80s.
I never even heard of it.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
When I first saw it on the list, I thought this was what's the other science project movie, or is it just Weird Science?
Weird Science.
Yeah, or Real Genius, or one. I thought it was one of those movies, but it wasn't.
Real Genius is awesome, and I sure as heck hope it's on the list.
Yeah, I believe it is. So I enjoyed it. I had kind of a trip down memory lane and see some of these actors that I hadn't seen in a long time, and I enjoyed the effects and things like that.
We should put the Reanimator on the list.
What'd you think was better, this or Last Starfighter?
Well, do you even have to ask?
Last Starfighter was way better.
No, that is objectively wrong. This was much better than Last Starfighter.
It's historically correct.
So I give this a thumbs up.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up, but just because it wasn't a terrible movie.
I think just because we've watched so many terrible movies that when we get something, so when we get something that's halfway decent, we're like, this is great. I enjoyed it.
This is not getting a resounding "this is great" from me. This is getting this wasn't what was that other movie that we watched?
Universal Soldier?
No, but Universal Soldiers.
Gunhead?
You forgot the S at Soldiers.
I'm sorry. Universal Soldiers?
Yeah, those are
Gunhead?
two totally different
Gunhead.
movies.
It's not Gunhead. Thank you.
So Thumbs up for me.
I've only gotten to the dynamite part, so I'm not all the way through it, but I'll give it a thumbs up also.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. I liked it. Little formulaic, but if I had seen this when it first came out, I would have liked it 10 times more than I do now. But
Oh,
it was
definitely.
good. Yeah, definitely. I never heard of it like you guys did either. I think it just somehow slipped through the radar.
Yeah,
This was in 1985.
There were so many movies
Yeah.
like this at the time too, I think.
I'm pretty sure that if I had watched it in 1985, I wouldn't have paid any attention to it. I was 4.
Well, you're a young buck.
I'm older than Honky, so if he'd have watched it in 1985, oh, I'm not.
No, I would have been 5. I'm a year older than you.
I would have been 10. So I would have been right at the right age.
Mordancy would have been old enough to enjoy it.
13, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
This is definitely a movie for a 13-year-old.
Oh,
10.
totally.
10-year-old probably would love it too.
Yeah, I would have loved this. I mean, I was already watching Jason movies and stuff at that age. So
Probably
Well, this is definitely not a horror flick.
The original Dune was about this time period too, right?
I saw that in the theater. And I loved it. I
And
still love
E.T.?
it. What about you, Lugbot? You like it?
Thumbs up, much better than that dog turd Last Starfighter.
All right, so thumbs up from.
Last Starfighter is an epic classic. I don't care what you say.
Okay, thumbs up. Now, unfortunately, I lost the script for picking the movies because I installed a new operating system, which I wanted to talk about on the show.
Then
So I
we're
don't know
just going
how
to have to watch Real Genius.
How you guys want to pick the next movie? And I didn't rewrite it, so
It picked itself.
I didn't even think about that until just now. So we'll have a vote on, I guess, how do we want to pick the movie, or do you want?
As long as we didn't lose
Joe's
the list
vote?
again.
No, all that's on my next class. This is on just my laptop.
I don't mind either, Real Genius or what was that other one?
Weird Science.
Weird Science. Either one's fine by me.
That's fine.
Does anybody have anything else they want to throw out there?
Cyberjack.
Cyberjack it is.
This looks quality.
What, Cyberjack?
Actually, let's make it Time Cop. This looks like a cheap knockoff version of Time Cop, so I want to watch, Time Cop.
Who was it? You who was saying that you were watching a
Jackie-
Time Cop show?
Yeah.
No, somebody
not
mentioned the Time Cop show.
Total Recall 2070.
Yeah, I mentioned that one, Total Recall 2070. Jackie mentioned, what movie was it? Demolition Man. She says we should watch Demolition Man.
I've seen it.
Have you
I can't
not
put
seen
it
it
on the
before?
list.
I'm not the one that recommended it.
Mm.
Have you not seen it, Joe?
Oh, I've seen it.
I've seen it too.
It's one of
I
my
can't put it
favorite
on the
movies.
list.
Saw it the week it came out in theaters.
So then we can't put it on the list because everybody's already seen it.
Yeah.
Everybody's already seen it, so we can't put it on the list.
All
Okay,
right, Jackie.
then let's do Cyberjack or Time Cop.
Cyberjack. Which one? Have you seen Cyberjack?
I've never
No.
seen Cyberjack.
No, we've never seen Cyberjack. I'm still looking for my
I have
science
seen Time
projects
Cop, though.
so I can rate it. Cyberjack, you want to do that one?
From 1995?
Yeah. So how many stars do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 stars for my science project. Wow. This is the highest rated movie we've ever done.
Yeah, the bar is getting pretty low here.
Well, our rating system is a little easy to game, you know. So if somebody
All it has to do is
doesn't
not
hate a
completely
movie, they
suck.
give it a thumbs up. So that's all you have to do is not hate it. And the more people there are that don't hate it,
Still,
the
the
higher
last
rated it
Starfighter
gets.
should have had at least 7 stars.
Absolutely
Nope.
not.
Hot steaming pile of crap.
I can't believe you guys don't want to watch Real Genius.
Well, I've already seen it. Everybody here has already seen it.
So, I haven't seen it in like 10 years.
Cyberjack is the movie, I think, is the consensus. Is that what everybody wants? Cyberjack? Okay.
Sure.
Sounds good.
All right. I've never seen it. Okay. Show notes.
Listen, make up your mind. Are you going to put it in or not?
I was deleting that because you were typing it in. I put the link for the IMDb and the Tubi.
Virtual Assassin. Is that another name for it? Virtual Assassin?
AKA Virtual Assassin.
Oh, I need to bring up the Reddit too.
So, looks like on Rotten Tomatoes it's called Virtual Assassin.
That's interesting.
Ooh, we should put Johnny Mnemonic on the list.
I've already seen it, so I cannot.
Right. But that was a good movie.
Oh,
I think we watched Ultraviolet already.
we did.
We did.
Where is that? Oh, I see
What are
it.
you looking for?
Ultraviolet. There it is. Oh yeah, it's already marked off. 2 stars. War Games: The Dead Code. How much? What did we give that?
That was a crap burger.
I'll be nice and give it 1 star. I don't remember. All right.
I'm not seeing where to watch this.
Oh, I'll put it up in the Matrix.
Well, there's a link
Cyberjack?
for Tubi, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I already
okay.
I put a link for Tubi in the
Nice.
in the show notes.
Awesome.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
Oh, wait, there's show notes?
Yeah.
Alright. I know the wife wants to watch this too, so I'll check and see if Tubi has a application I can put on my TV upstairs.
They have an application, and then you can watch it directly from the webpage.
I'm not making it up. You told me you wanted to watch it. That's true.
I think the app's available for everything.
I'll
Probably.
check. It probably is.
And Cody.
Cody has everything.
I think Amazon, Google, and Roku all work. All have app. And all my smart TVs have it.
So, Danny, you're ready to talk about your experiences with, what was it, OpenSUSE, Gen 2,
Oh, okay. I'm using, so I switched.
the new Fedora?
Well, I'm still using Fedora, but I'm using Kinoite which is their KDE version of Silverblue. So it's Fedora's immutable. Is that how you say it? OS.
Sure.
So you don't, you can't really. What's in root kind of stays in root. And let me bring it up because they explain it much better than I do, and I like it so far. It's a lot different, but it takes some getting used to. So Silverblue, which is the same thing as I'm using Silverblue, just the KDE version. A mutable desktop operating system. It aims to be extremely stable and reliable. It also aims to be an excellent platform for developers and for those using container-focused workflows. It feels and behaves just like a regular desktop operating system. However, unlike other operating systems, Fedora Silverblue is immutable. This means that every installation is identical to every other installation of the same version. The operating system that is on disk is exactly the same from one machine to the next, and it never changes as it is used. It's intended to be more stable. So when that comes to actually using it, what that means is that if you want to install an application, you need to either find a Flatpak or you need to install it within a container so that it's separate from the actual OS itself. And Fedora, I don't know if Fedora created the tool, but there's a tool called Toolbox. And what Toolbox does is it's a CLI tool. It creates a tiny stripped down Fedora server image container, and you enter into the container. So you would, here's the process. You would type toolbox create, and then you can name your container or have Fedora name it. And like say, I wanted to install gparted. So I'd do Fedora create gparted. Now gparted would be the name of my little container there, toolbox container. It uses Podman for the front end for container creation and accessing. So I do toolbox create gparted, then I would be toolbox enter gparted. Now I'm inside my container, and it looks just like a normal terminal. You're inside the little Podman container, except it has like a little diamond next to your name, your username, so that you know you're inside the container when you are. And then you can do an update just like you would on any other system. And then you can do a DNF install, and it'll install whatever application you want to install that you're wanting to create the container for. You can use that same container for multiple applications as well. When you call the container, you'll just call the application you want to use from the container. So I'll do like DNF install gparted. And then it'll update everything, pull down the latest gparted and install it. And then I'll exit the container. And then when I run gparted, I'll do toolbox -c gparted, and that tells you that that's the container that you're accessing. And then run, and then the name of the application, which is gparted. So you type that into the CLI, and pops gparted, a GUI application running from a Podman container. And then to create a shortcut, you just, do a little script alias to it, and you can add an icon to it and put it in your little toolbar or wherever you want to put the icon or put the shortcut. And so it's separate from the OS. So if anything ever happens to your OS, your whatever crashes or whatever, and you need to reinstall or roll back, it's easy to do it because all your applications are containerized or in Flatpaks. And that's how you're supposed to use it. Now, if you don't want it, you can still kind of install things in the like a normal way as far as like DNF goes. But what happens if you install an application and you don't install it via Flatpak, or you don't install it via Toolbox to put it in the container? You have to do an RPM OS tree install. And what that does is it rolls the application into the Silverblue image. So now your application is actually part of the image. And so they kind of tell you not to do that unless it's a last resort, because you want to keep your OS pretty pure if you can, and don't want to start rolling images or rolling applications into the and then re-imaging the OS to have that. It's like if that application was part of the OS to begin with. So it's not really recommended, but you can install stuff like that. But if you're going to install your applications like that, then there's no point in really using Silverblue as your operating system. So it's a little more time consuming as far as getting stuff up and running and getting everything the way you want it, but supposedly it's a lot more stable, and everything is separated from your operating system. Like even when you do like a OS tree install, it creates its own kind of root fuse mount on your system to where it doesn't actually share your OS's root. So it's still not, touching your OS root. It creates its own root just for that application. But if you're going to do that a lot, then you're probably not going to get any benefit out of running Kinoite or Silverblue, because there's no point in it. But I like what I've seen so far. To me, it's a lot faster, especially the more applications you have running installed, compared to just the normal workstation OS, just because they don't start and they're not part of your file system until you actually call them via Podman or via Toolbox. And then you can do Toolbox, and then I think it's show or something like that, and it'll show you all the containers you have running, the application containers, but they don't start until you actually call them. And it's I don't know if this is supposed to be part of the benefit of it, but it doesn't use hardly as nearly as much power on my laptop as just standard Fedora workstation does. I really like that power saving aspect, and I don't know if this has to do with the way it's created or imaged or what, but the benefits for me so far have been just pure speed and power saving, and I guess the drawbacks would be if you can't find a flat pack of the application you want to run, you have to go through the process of creating a container for that application and then setting up a shortcut to call it if you don't want to call it from the CLI each time, and that's the main drawback, I guess, to this. So that's my experience so far in the little bit of time I've been running an immutable operating system called Kinoite from Fedora. So I like it. I installed Mumble via Flatpak. I installed Kdenlive via Flatpak. Oh, another problem I had is it already comes with Firefox installed, which is weird. I don't think it should. I think it should not come with a browser, but it does. And the Firefox that is installed is like the Fedora Firefox that they add to the actually OS image. And so when I fired up Firefox and tried to watch PeerTube and tried to get Jitsi running, I couldn't because it doesn't have the correct media codecs. And if you don't want to screw around with RPM OS tree and try to install the media codecs that you're guessing may work, you need to uninstall that Firefox, or you need to install the Flatpak version of Firefox. And I didn't want to have two versions of Firefox on my laptop, so I tried to uninstall Firefox, and it wouldn't uninstall because there's also a language pack that it depends on, and it wouldn't leave that dangling. So I finally tracked down that you had to uninstall both Firefox and Firefox language pack, and then I was able to cleanly uninstall them, re-roll the image, and then install just a flat pack of Firefox, which worked fine. So that's kind of my mental review of Fedora Silverblue / Kinoite. So far, I like it. What other immutable operating systems are there? Aren't there a few others?
Wasn't that a Reddit post that you had?
Or was it? Mm,
8 immutable Linux distributions for those looking to embrace the future.
yeah, it was. I guess we can go to that. So Carbon OS is another one. Or it's an upcoming independent Linux distro. Flatpak first and container first approach, which I imagine it's probably going to use Toolbox via Podman as well. Fedora Silverblue, Flat Car Container Linux, community built Linux distribution tailored for container workloads. You get a minimal OS image that includes only the tools needed to run containers, no package manager, and no configuration hassle. So I guess this would be a good option if you just want a real minimal OS. Oh, OpenSUSE MicroOS, that's right. Built for servers where one needs to deploy containers or work with automated workflows. So it's a server OS called MicroOS made by OpenSUSE. Relies on transactional updates utilizing ButterFS with snapshots, which Fedora also uses ButterFS, which is nice, the snapshot function. Vanilla OS, that's the Debian one, right? However, it's a fairly new entrant. It managed to make waves with its release and then switching to a Debian-based ditching Ubuntu after its first stable release. It provides an easy-to-use desktop experience with reliability and immutable features. Bottle Rocket, Linux-based open source OS built by Amazon Web Services to run containers on its platforms. Its usage is limited to AWS. Blend OS, an interesting distro in development which aims to provide all the good things from other distributions. In other words, you can install any type of package on the distro, RPM, deb, etc., while getting the immutability and update reliability as one would expect.
Yeah, we talked about LindoOS a while back.
Which, by the way, with using Toolbox and Podman, you're not stuck to using DNF or RPMs. You can pull down a minimal image of any OS you want, since it's a container OS, since it's containerized. Like if you wanted to run an application and they only had a deb for it, you could pull down a Podman deb container or a Debian container and then install Debian or install the Debian application within the container and then call it via Toolbox just like you would a Fedora application. So I guess you could say it's kind of agnostic in that way, the way that Flatpak is, since everything is containerized. Now, if you wanted to use RPM OS tree, you would have to find an actual Fedora application or an application that's designed for Fedora. But I tried that RPM OS tree, and it works fine. When I first installed it, and I'd done that with a couple things, but then I decided, you know what? If I'm going to use this operating system, I really want to use it the way it was intended. So I reinstalled the OS and just went with straight containers and Flatpaks. And so far, it's done me pretty good. So, any HPR listeners, you really do get Linux news on this show. So there's your proof.
Did you lock down the list so we couldn't add things? Or did you just block me?
What list?
Movie list.
No, I didn't lock it down.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's on there.
I'm trying to make changes. I can't.
Well, let me close it. It says recently edited. Somebody edited it.
Not by me.
Are you going to the Lugcast folder and getting it and just clicking on it? See if can anybody else edit it? I didn't lock it down. It's shared to everybody. It's an open share.
Here.
Okay.
Can you see my screen? Okay, let me come in
Yeah.
here. And then I click anywhere. Let me click enter typing Nothing.
What?
All I can do is download it.
Okay, well, hang on. Let me details, sharing, others with access. No, only works. Okay, so you're right. I have the accesses. I need to set the access. How did that happen? It allow editing.
Oh, all right, now I can edit. Now I can edit.
Okay. So I need to add this to the notes. What is... But if this sounds like something that may interest you, I definitely recommend you trying it out. I like it. What about projects? Oh, where'd Honky go? He disappeared. Joe, any projects?
Not really. I mean, I redid the base for the 1GX because that one side just I mean, I bought 4 different hubs that were supposed to be able to do pass-through power, and they all worked like once, and then I'd rebuild the base around it, and then
I
I'd hook it
remember
up
this.
again, and they'd quit working.
Yeah.
So essentially, I got rid of the PD side, and oh, let me turn off the background here.
So did you ever find one that would last?
No, and you know, I got one that
You got like 100-watt one, didn't you?
yeah, I did, and then I got one that I had used for years on a different tablet. I just picked up another one that was the same model, and then like it worked once when I hooked it up, and then I built everything around it, and then hooked it up again, and it just wouldn't charge.
Man, that's
So,
frustrating.
so
So did
I'm
it?
leaving
Did you?
that slot empty.
So now after it quit working for the laptop, did you test it to see if it'd work on anything else?
I did. It won't. Some of them will do like 5 watt, but then they try to do the higher power.
Yeah.
I think if I hooked it up to a power supply that only did like 5 volts, it might work. I'd have to check. But my one that will actually show me the output, it checks to see if it will do the higher wattage, higher voltage.
Uh-huh.
So I don't. It's not working at 15 volts. I know that.
That's crazy.
And it will try to do 5 volts, and then it will cycle, and then it will cycle, and then it will cycle. And so, yeah, I rebuilt, and you can see the base station there. Essentially, I do have my concerns about how I set it up, because I'm just hooked up to the one USB-C that doesn't do power, or that doesn't do input power. And then that runs to a hub that runs down the middle, which is one of the ones that used to do power but doesn't anymore. And then that hooks up to the other 2 hubs that are on the sides, that one and that one. And then also it has a just a USB stick there, and it has an empty slot there. So I think it came out okay. I mean, it's not exactly what I wanted, but yeah, it works. So I'm happy with it for now until I decide to rebuild it again. Or build a different one.
It looks pretty clean.
Yeah,
I
it
like
pops
it.
off. It pops off real good, and then I can put it back on like any other docking station.
It's just weird that it's only charging once and then
Dies.
dies.
I have to assume that it's the laptop itself at this point is
Yeah.
somehow killing them.
What it
But
sounds
it's
like.
not. I mean, I hook up, my USB-C connection directly from the Pine Power, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and that works fine every time. As long as I'm hooking it up straight and not going through a hub, it works fine. I've even tried different power supplies, and it's still the same thing. So, but it works, and I got the balance a little bit better. So, like everything is a little bit further to the back, and I still have plenty of room for airflow.
Mhm.
But it prevents it when I'm typing from like leaning backwards if I'm typing on a flat surface, and also it prevents it from tipping backwards when I have my phone hooked up to the top, the second screen.
Man, that's like one of the best deals you ever got was that little laptop.
Yeah, $150 for a $1,000 laptop, and then well, $1,200 laptop, and then another $50 for the battery. Yeah, I had to wait like a month and a half to get the battery, but yeah, I mean, I love it. I can't take it to work with me because of the area that I work in, which kind of sucks. But so I'm not using it as much as I would like to use it because everywhere else I sit in my house, there's another computer there. I'm a nerd. Like, yeah, okay. Literally everywhere I go in my house, there's another computer set up for me to use. Except the bathroom, which I should probably correct. Like put tablets on arms in the bathroom so that they just, when you sit down, you can flip them out so that they're right in front of you.
Perfect. I mean, that's all you need, really.
Yeah.
To either watch something or to do a quick little flip through, like whatever news.
Nudes, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What about you, Honky? Any projects? COVID?
Yeah.
Project COVID?
No, nothing recently. No.
Mordancy?
I'm updating my yunohost. I had some issues with Jitsi and MariaDB and some other stuff not working. Not a lot of documentation online that told me how to fix it. But I figured out one of them, MariaDB, was looking for a mysql.cf config file that was missing, and I created that, and it the updates system update worked. I just have a few more of my apps to manually update. I'm updating them one at a time because they keep failing.
That's one thing about Unohost that drives me crazy sometimes is the documentation, especially when it comes to application packages. Because the applications in Unohost run differently than they would if you just installed them natively on something else. Like the paths are all different, and then if you go to the GitHub page for the Unohost application package, there's no documentation there. Like it's nothing there. It just directs you to the original application documentation, which if you're having problems with Unohost, it doesn't really help you too much.
It does not, but I've been able to. I think I've like 4 more applications out of 32 that I need to. I'm updating them through the web UI and not with the. I think it's the Unohost tools that you can do in the command line.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to repurpose that desktop, that refurb Think Center. Think Center that I have that didn't work well with the drawing screen. I'm gonna give that to somebody on Sunday who I converted to Linux 25 years ago on his 25-year-old gateway computer.
He's still using his 25-year-old gateway computer?
Yeah. There were some upgrades made, hard drive and memory at some point from somebody else, with the Ubuntu still running on it, and it's getting a firmware bug at boot now with the last update to 2204.
See, this is the power of Linux. Show me somebody running Windows 11 on a 25-year-old gateway.
Yeah, so I need to find a hard drive in the house in case the hard drive doesn't work when I move it over. But I'm gonna take that over, and hopefully it'll just be a hard drive swap and it'll boot right up. But if not, I need to find a hard drive this weekend. And then I got a little further with my 2 proxmox installs.
Oh yeah.
I kind of need some help with the proxying. If I'm going to proxy, I may just do firewall rules. I don't know. My Linode instance is only 1 core and 1 core or 2 cores, 1 gig of memory. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a lot with that. But the SSD nodes one, I think I can. It's got some more robust.
So you're running proxmox with 1 gig of memory?
Right. Yeah.
And it's running. Do you have anything running on it, hosted on it?
No. On the last show, I finally got the networking set up, so it actually works. But I can't access the instances outside of the console that pops up in Proxmox. I can't access them directly from the internet.
Have you updated to the latest Proxmox?
I don't know which version I'm on. Let me check.
They have a new dark UI, which looks awesome. Night mode or whatever. On both the backup server and virtual environments. I've been waiting for that for a while. It looks great.
Do I see that in the UI or from the command line?
In the UI. Let's see. I'm running. I believe it's the latest version that has it. 7.4-3 is what I'm running.
I have 7.3-3.
Oh, okay. So you don't have it yet. Well, if you upgrade, you'll see it. It looks pretty cool.
How'd you upgrade? Command line or?
Oh, just through through the, what do you call it? The
web portal.
Go to your node and go to updates, and then there you'll see all the packages that can be updated. You may have to hit refresh button and then hit upgrade.
I hit upgrade. I didn't hit refresh.
Yeah, so sometimes it'll miss some packages, but it's no big deal.
Yeah, I'll refresh it when it's done. Yeah, it's running now.
And
cool.
Then,
I look forward to hopefully that'll help.
Yeah, I like it.
I know on the last show we talked about switching to Flatpak from Snap.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't looked into it yet, but does anybody on the podcast know if that's something that you can migrate Firefox?
So I just migrated Firefox from my old installation, which was a native install of Firefox, to a Flatpak install of Firefox. And is that what you're talking about? All your bookmarks and everything like that?
Yeah, so
History.
on my Ubuntu, my Firefox is already Snap. It updated and migrated everything, but I don't know if I can migrate from Snap to Flatpak. If it
Yes,
migrates
you can.
over.
Yes, you can. So the way I did it is if you go in Firefox to the little 3-line menu and go to Help, and then go to More Troubleshooting Information. And under Application Basics, there's one that says Profile Directory, and it has a button that says Open Directory. And that'll open the directory. And then you go back one to the Firefox folder and copy the default release folder, which will have like some random letters and numbers in front of it and say .default-release. And then also copy the default folder, which will have random numbers and letters and .default. Copy those and put them somewhere, thumb drive or
Did you
something
follow
like
a document, or
Huh?
did you follow a document, or do you have all that from memory?
No, I'm looking at it now. Yeah. I just remembered how I did it. But it works.
Now, are you just looking to do Firefox from a Snap to a Flatpak?
So are you looking at it now?
I had a call coming in on my laptop. I don't know what was going on.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm at Firefox support. Frequent topics.
No, go to in your little menu there, go help. Go to help and then more troubleshooting information. In your actual Firefox browser menu.
Okay, troubleshooting information.
And then it'll bring you to a page that says troubleshooting information. And you see that first one that says application basics?
Yes.
Okay, now if you look down a little bit, there's one that says profile directory. And there'll be a button there that says open directory.
Right.
Okay, open that, and you'll see like default. You'll be in one that says default release. We'll go back one to the actual Firefox folder, to where you can see folders that say crash reports, pending pings, or whatever. And you'll copy 2 folders from there. You'll copy one that has some random letters and numbers. It'll say .default. And then there's another folder that has random letters and numbers, .default-release. You'll copy both of those folders and put them.
I do not have release, just the letters and numbers .default.
Okay,
I have crash reports, pending pings, profile INI, and installs INI.
So yours may be different. On mine, I did both folders, but maybe the way yours is set up, you may only need to do that one folder. You could try it. That .default folder. I have 2, .default and then .default-release. But
and then I just put that in after the Flatpak is installed.
Yeah, install the Flatpak first, and then go to that folder within the Flatpak install and find out what those are called.
The profile directory, and then what's inside the .default, copy to the new .default.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. And I should be able to install both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And then if the Flatpak works, uninstall the Snap version.
Right.
Awesome.
Just make sure it works first, so you don't lose all your stuff there. But if you save it to a thumb drive or something, that's what I did. I just put it on a thumb drive, then I installed Silverblue and uninstalled the old Firefox, installed the Flatpak version, and then put that profile directory in there, or copied the contents of the profile directory into the new one. Overwrote everything, and then it had everything. It had all my bookmarks, all my history, all my saved passwords, everything appeared in the new Flatpak install.
I think I remember transferring from a Windows computer my Firefox profile, or maybe my Mac. My Mac and my Linux, transferred my profiles between devices. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, hopefully it works for you.
I added a couple of movies to the list.
Netminer, you been working on anything?
Excuse me, I'd been doing something and I had to blank the audio before I could check in.
We hear you loud and clear now.
Yeah, well, I didn't want the recording to pick up copyrightable material and get a strike. I've just been doing a lot of writing and editing some of my older work.
What you been writing about?
Some fiction, private stuff. It's amazing what over 20 years you can do. Even at my slow typing speed, you can get a lot of megabytes of stuff.
Now, what do you like to use to write? What application?
I'm using at the moment. I either use Notepad Next or Notepad QQ.
I haven't used either one of those. Do you prefer those to something like LibreOffice or word processors?
I write plain text only, and I think some of the stuff is probably still pure ASCII. That is to say, it hasn't. I don't know if it's automatically converted to UTF-8 or whatever.
Have you done anything more with your pies?
Not at the moment. No, I've just been setting up the mini computers and again going through a few megabytes of my old work.
Are you using MX Linux? Is that what you were using?
Yeah, that's what I'm using on the minis.
You still
But
liking that, or
yes, I still like it. One extension that I'm using is something called Group Speed Dial, which gives you little thumbnails of your. You basically, instead of bookmarking stuff the old way, you get little thumbnails of your different websites in a grid that so you can go from, you can have pages of different websites, like your common sites, Linux stuff, whatever. And it's a I guess visual bookmark type application. Also, it allows you to take these bookmarks and back them up so that you can, if you're switching between machines or between versions of Firefox or what have you, you can get it has a built-in backup restore facility, which has saved my bacon when I'm moving between Mint and MX.
so? Do you still think you're going to do MX on everything? Everything that you can?
I think I'm going to do it. I've still got to set up one mini and work on the pies, but I've been grinding along, pulling out of backups old stuff, trying to get a canonical version. And that's been a little tedious. Also finding dozens of typos and skips where my dyslexia had me drop words.
Lovecraft, you been working on anything interesting?
Not a whole lot. I recently I'm trying to repurpose this wall mount touchscreen computer that I got. Thinking of trying to find some software or something that I could use as like a front end to make a touch sensitive kind of jukebox PC to play some tunes. I was thinking that might be pretty cool, but that's still in the planning phases right now.
What did you say you were repurposing?
It's a wall mount touchscreen PC. It's kind of
really?
a thin machine. Yeah, I'm trying to. I think it might be cool to kind of hook it up and just have like a one of the touchscreen type jukebox PCs just to play some music.
What
So,
do you know what the hardware is like inside? Is it an Intel chip or?
yeah, it's an Intel. It's I think like a 5th gen i5, and it's got 8 gigs of memory in it.
Oh, nice. So are you going to put music on the actual computer or just use it as an interface for remote?
Yeah, I mean, I can put. I'm going to put a new SSD in it, probably with load something on there, and I probably put like a terabyte in there, so that'll fit my entire music collection, no problem.
How do you just connect speakers to it, or?
Yeah, I'll probably tie it into my stereo or something.
Oh, okay.
More looking to see what kind of software I can find that'll work with the touch screen. So,
Oh, yeah.
that's going to be a thing.
That'll be fun.
Have you tried installing anything on there on it yet, or?
Nah, right now it's still got the original hard drive and it's Windows 10 on it right now, but yeah, it's got a bunch of the other proprietary crap that it had loaded on there. It used to be information kiosk.
Now, does it have ports and stuff on it, or?
Oh yeah, it's got a USB and audio jacks and stuff like that. So Ethernet, all that.
I had one from a hospital that my brother got me, but it was running Android, and I set it up to just be a monitor essentially. Still have it. Get it.
That's cool.
No, well, yours is running Windows, which makes it a lot more flexible. At least once you strip Windows off it and put Linux on there. Running Android, there isn't a whole lot more you can do with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm not really familiar with anything that's Linux and touch sensitive, so I'll have to play around with that. I'm sure that'll be a couple of hurdles, but it'll be a fun project.
Yeah, this. Hold on, let me. This was formerly a kiosk.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's freaking huge. No
That's
battery
cool.
or anything. You just hook it up straight to the wall.
Well, can you show it again, Joe? Dang. And it does it have a computer inside of it?
It's just an Android computer, yeah.
So maybe an ARM-based?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the exact thing. Well, it's got because it's been a couple of years sitting on my shelf doing nothing essentially. But like a SD card slot there, which is just an extender to a slot there. I have to find the power supply for it because it's a freaking barrel jack. So I don't even know where that is right now.
Does it have a network connection?
Yeah, it does have an Ethernet slot right
Sweet.
there.
Man, that'd
Ethernet
be cool to
to
play with.
USB. It was cool to play with. It just wasn't very fast or anything. It didn't have like a really great processor in it or anything like that. And it runs Android. It was just a little slow. I used it for a little while, but then it got boring.
Well, the problem is with Android too. Once it stops receiving updates, you're just kind of screwed.
Yeah. You really need to find a Linux distro that'll work on that hardware. That's the hard
and the
part.
other thing was, this is some pretty obscure hardware, so it's not like I'm going to go to XDA and find another operating system that'll work on it. And
especially
be
for
able
the
to
display and the touchscreen drivers.
Yeah.
Be the hard part. Probably even the network driver.
Yeah. So about the only thing you can do with it is like load up the same thing I do on my phone to use it as a second monitor. And just do that through a browser. And at that point, you might as well just, get another monitor. But with one that ran Windows and had an actual, like non-ARM based processor, it's probably going to work a whole lot better.
Yeah. I wonder if you can find those, like on Facebook Marketplace, just old kiosks that people want to get rid of.
Can't hurt to look.
Mm-hmm. Those will be fun. You could do like that, how people were doing the magic mirrors deal, where they would have like a little weather application and then, show calendar stuff and things like. You could just do that on your wall or something.
Last time you guys talked about the link for affordable device that will connect their brain to a Raspberry Pi, right?
We haven't talked about it.
I
no?
don't remember
That's
you
a
guys
new
talking
link.
about it, no.
We never talked about that. Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah.
Sure.
Tell me all about
Well,
it.
I was just going through the Reddit stuff, trying to figure out where we were from the last show.
Oh,
and I was wondering whether that one was talked about. So
no. We left off at Open Snitch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the last thing we talked about. So it's a electroencephalography device. It's a Shield, Raspberry Pi Shield add-on. Converts the Pi into a brain-computer interface by measuring electrical activity in the brain. And you could control robots, mechanical limbs, sleep control, meditation control. And it's cheap too. I mean, for what you're talking about here, for an EEG, I think it's, what is it, like $200, $250. Shield itself will cost between $250 and $350. What it says, which is about $150 cheaper than some other price-conscious EEG shields, which I had no idea there were others of these. I wonder if this is just mainly highlighted because of the price.
No idea.
It said he started with a small wearable brain-computer interface, but there's a chip shortage. It became too expensive, so then he created the Shield for the Pi. So they just gave those few examples of what you could actually use it for. What would you control with your thought waves? Joe, I don't think has any electrical activity going on up there, so it probably wouldn't work for
Probably not.
him.
No. Maybe, power scroll Facebook with it.
Doom scrolling.
I'm pretty sure I don't want to hook up my brain to anything.
Not even to a robot?
No, that's probably not a good idea.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's going to be on the outside. It's not a surgical implant or anything. You just put it on your head.
That's nice.
You put it on your head, connect it to Amazon Alexa, and then
There's a good idea.
it reads all your thoughts. You're ready to go.
All my thoughts. That's
It
not
tells
healthy.
you what you want to buy, and instantly buys everything on Amazon that you're thinking about.
Runs up your credit.
That actually sounds like something that's not too far off.
It's been depicted in media before. Trying to remember what it was.
I mean, we already have people accidentally, their kids buying stuff on Amazon through Alexa.
Yeah.
The next iteration will be thinking about something, and then all of a sudden you get billed for it.
Wow, I'd get billed for some crazy crap.
See, I'm not sure Amazon could deliver that.
50-gallon barrel of lube or something.
No, but they'd pretend though. You thought
That you
about
can buy.
this, so
Yeah.
Adult diapers.
Listen, then I don't have to move.
That's right. Stay in your chair.
Adjust a little bit to change the diaper.
then I
and
don't have
that's
to
it.
stop playing WoW.
That's it.
Just shit your pants while you're playing.
Scrolling Facebook and playing WoW. That's all.
Imagine that.
No thanks.
As far as the Reddit links go, there's a lot of them. We've been off for a while. Anything that strikes anybody's fancy? Here's something we've talked about. Gmail is breaking email. Email is an open system, right? Anyone can send a message to anyone unless they are on Gmail, which I think we've talked about this in the past. It's not so much the ISPs that are a danger to independent email as it is the large email services, whether they decide to accept email from independent email servers or not, because they don't have to. And this guy kind of gives an issue he had where he couldn't send email to a Gmail account because the Gmail account would hold the message that he sent for 48 hours while they decided if it was spam or not. And even though he said he had all the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records provided, everything, no restrictions from his ISP, and Gmail was still stopping his emails. And so, I mean, this is kind of like a soft version of censorship, I guess, market manipulation, where, you know, people don't have to use those services, but
it's for your safety.
yeah, most people are already using them, and so they're already kind of doing this feeling of being locked in, and so where does this leave independent server, you know, people that run their own email servers? If they're locked out of this Microsoft, Gmail, Yahoo infrastructure, then they're just screwed, you know, because the majority of people use those services to communicate with email, and that sucks. That sucks that they can do that. I mean, email was supposed to be this free messaging service that was accessible to everybody, and, you know, you shouldn't have to join a big corporate email application just to send emails.
Yep.
But
you
can't really force. I don't think you can force Google to take emails that they don't want to. You know, oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask how your email server was doing.
Mine's fine. I've never had problems with mine. I mean, unlike this guy, anybody I send mail to on Gmail doesn't have an issue, but for some reason he had an issue with his. But I can see this being a problem in the future with my email. Maybe they decide to change things up. Maybe mine is different since I'm using Google domains for my for my email server. You know, I don't know. But
Okay. Well, I did say at the beginning of the show that I had a ChatGPT story, and one of the links reminded me.
Go for it.
So, I was talking to one of the people that I work with, and they were talking about hiring and what's going on in the near future. And he said that he caught a guy recently in an interview using ChatGPT to answer questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
What?
I mean, okay, you use ChatGPT, but then, you know, you ended up doing a screen share so that you could show some coding, and you still had ChatGPT brought up and the list of questions that they had asked and the answers that you provided that, you know, ChatGPT brought you.
Wow.
So, yeah. If you're a hiring manager, keep an eye out for that crap.
Now, what do you think the risk is to computer programmers, current programmers, from AI programming?
It depends on how good it gets. I don't think that it will be a permanent problem. I mean, it might solve some things here and there, but there's always going to be a need for outliers in cases like that. That ChatGPT probably wouldn't be able to program around, and then that's where you would need programmers. So the role of a programmer, the role of a lot of jobs are going to be changing. Like, if you could get AI to actually, you know, do things, and you're almost there at this point, the market would have to change. I mean, less people would be able to work at that point. Let's say you actually, you know, got robots working as well, then you'd have to restructure society so that it wasn't about working, it was about thinking. But, yeah.
So what I was thinking about is you put it kind of the exact thing I was thinking is they're going to focus more on people that can create new ideas rather than execute code that you know, for old ideas that just needs to be you know, just existing kind of programming structures. I think it'll move towards people that are creative when it comes to programming and you know,
fixing things.
Yeah, solving new problems that don't already have solutions that exist that ChatGPT can scour the internet and find, you know.
Yeah, and then, you know, maybe it leads to us doing more exploring outside of, you know, where we are now.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we
mean, it
take it
could
to space.
free up
Maybe we have more
resources.
time to do other things, but then you'd also have to do things that people wouldn't really like provide a universal income or make it so, you know, more Star Trek-esque where food doesn't actually cost money and housing doesn't cost money. And
see, we're at that cusp now where I think
I'd say
we
we're
have to pick
farther from it than you think.
Well, yeah, we are, but I think eventually we're going to have to pick the direction we want to go. Do we want this to be AI only owned by certain mega corporations and use it to make all this money, or do we want to open it up to everybody so that
At first, it's going to go towards making somebody money. I mean, that's how
Right.
shit gets made right now. That's what happens. But the problem will get to be as it does take away more jobs and more jobs and more jobs unless people are getting paid to, you know, do things. People still need to eat. People still want a roof over their head. Unemployment's shot up. Well, there's no jobs because they're all done through automation now. So how do we keep people alive?
Well, one of the biggest complaints against OpenAI right now is that it's not actually open. It's just a black box of LLMs, and so I think in the beginning they promised that this is going to be open to everybody, you know. But then as they started making money, they realized, well, we need to keep this code obfuscated and don't give people access to the actual models themselves. And but I'm hoping that more people, like the MIT project that came out, was it Llama, and more projects like this, truly open source language models will be out there.
I'm not going to deny that, it's dangerous, especially right now. I mean, if the jobs did get taken away right now, then there's still a lot of people that would be like, no, there's no universal anything. That's communism. So
yeah, but we don't have any kind of backup plan.
we don't, and people would start starving and dying because all the jobs that make people rich would be elsewhere.
Yeah, there needs to be something there to just to keep people. I mean, and we're not even talking about programming. I'm talking about just working at fast food restaurants or anything that robotics and AI can.
Trucking, delivery. Well,
but Honky has said this in the past, and I agree with him too on this. That this has happened before. That jobs were predicted to be lost, and they were lost. But there was always new careers and new types of jobs that came and took their place,
Exactly. Well, that's, But
it's going to be that transition period that's going to be rough.
Yeah. There'll end up being more people that either do jobs like mine as support, and that would be considered, a lower level job, and then there would be the more intellectual jobs where you're innovating in new ways that an AI wouldn't be able to just yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's going to be a weird future because we are here to witness it.
Or you'd get tired of sitting around with your thumb on your ass, and you'd go and colonize Mars and try to make that better.
Which that's Bezos' plan. He wants to turn Earth into a giant, like a national
preserve.
Park almost. Yeah, nature preserve. It's kind of a cool idea. Well, I really don't want to live on Mars, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, living in a more intellectual society. I don't think anybody really would. Where, you're not trying to grind your freaking life away.
Yeah, I see your point. Where that so many people are just all they do all day is menial labor, and they don't have time to pursue any interests of their own. And
yeah, don't get me wrong. I like my job. I like doing what I do, but I would like to retire one day too. And it seems like every time I take one more step towards retirement, something changes in the economy, and I take 3 steps back.
I don't even look at my 401k anymore. It's depressing.
It's been rough the last couple of years. Like, I keep throwing money at it, and it keeps either staying the same or slightly going down.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to it anymore. It's just depressing.
Yeah. Yeah, let's move on from there. There's another link here that looks cool that I have not read yet, saying Pebble might be coming back as a small Android phone.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been interested in small Android phones lately, and you can't really find a good one.
They don't exist. Not one with decent specs, anyway,
They don't. You either got to go like a generation or 2 back, or give up 5G entirely.
Yeah, you're right. Or settle for like a MediaTek chip or something like that, But that Pebble says they want to have, high-end specs just on a small phone. They have a couple of designs here, the way the camera would look, and they said they want to be able to take good photos is one of their goals. Probably about a 50 megapixel good camera. Lots of software trickery, they said. Let's see. So they've been chatting in a Discord, actually, as far as like working as a team to design this phone.
It would be cool, especially if it were, lower cost, and it should be since it has a smaller screen and there's less glass to worry about. But you never know, especially it might end up being a little bit niche. And also, it depends on how small they're planning on getting. I mean, are they planning on making a phone the size of a watch or slightly larger?
Slightly larger.
They said they want to make, but they settled maybe on 2 different chipsets, a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 or yet to be released mid-tier Qualcomm chip. At least 2 years of software updates. Price tag could be about $850.
Damn, that's still a bit rough on the price, but I guess it depends on how good it actually is.
I like the iPhone mini size. That's one of my favorite sizes. That was a 5.4-inch display.
Yeah, that is a fair size, and that was about the smallest you could get for a while. And I
Yeah.
like the S3 size. I think that was a 4.8 or a 5.2. I can't remember. But yeah, about that size, and you can't really find it. Or smaller. I wouldn't mind like something like really small, because mostly I'm offloading my processing anymore to a server. I'm not doing much on my phone itself. I'd like to break that down to practically doing nothing on my phone and just having it, connected to
Text and
crap.
call.
Well, no, because I also want to stream. I want it to be able to stream, but I want everything on my computer. I don't need it on my phone.
See,
But it's a small phone with a small screen. Then when you're going to be streaming something that you're going to have to struggle to see. Well, audio, yeah, audio would be easy.
That's all I want to do is, stream my audiobooks, maybe stream some podcasts.
Well, when I first saw this headline, I was really hoping that they would integrate some kind of e-ink screen, because it's got the Pebble name. I thought, but it's just another Android phone, basically, just smaller. I don't see anything about it that makes it distinctly Pebble, except for the name.
Yeah, the company.
I think it's just from the creator of the Pebble who wanted a small phone. That was it. Yeah, but personally, I'm the exact opposite. I don't want a small phone. I have absolutely no desire for a small phone. I want a fold. That's what I want.
Right.
I want something that's going to be bigger. I want to be able to fit it in my pocket and then take it out and have it be nice and big.
That's the thing with the fold. Now there are 2 of the different folds from like Samsung. Now they have the tablet style fold, and they have that one that like unfolds into the size of a phone. I think the one that unfolds into the size of a phone is pretty damn cool because it breaks down pretty small into your pocket. Now, like my wife consumes all of her media using her phone, so I can understand her wanting a larger screened phone. But me, I'm always in front of a computer, and the only thing I'm really doing with my phone is listening to audiobooks, and I would just like to be able to do it from a smaller device.
And there's a lot of people like you, Joe. I mean, I'm the same way. And I hate that there isn't 2 options out there for people like you and then people like your wife. One a big phone and one a small phone. They got rid of the small phone, Now they got a big phone and an ultra big phone.
Right. And
that's your choices.
I do like my Note 10 Plus. And I do see the point in having a larger phone if that's where you're consuming your media from. And for a while, I was, but not. I'd like to try out a small phone again. So if they did come out with a 3.8-inch phone that I thought the stats didn't suck on, I would give it a try. Also, I want to be able to wear it on my arm again.
Okay.
That's not going to happen. At least not anything substantial.
I don't know. I did it with the Note 3.
Wore it on your arm?
I built a case for it and wore it on my arm. No, I wore it on my wrist.
Goddamn watch. I got you.
And then also, I did that quite a bit with the S3, and I didn't do it as much with the S7. But when I switched from the Note 3 to the S7, I didn't do it as much. And I'm definitely not doing it with the frickin' Note 10 Plus.
No, why not?
Way too big for that,
It'd be like having a kiosk on your arm.
right? I might as well. What's that called from Fallout?
Oh yeah, the something boy,
Pip Boy.
Pip
There you
Boy.
go. Might as well turn my Note 10 Plus into a Pip Boy.
You should do that.
Look pretty cool.
Oh, before we end, or before everybody falls asleep, I wanted, since we got Mordancy here, I don't know if he's listening or not, but I wanted to talk about and Lovecraft expressed some interest in this too, a Linux Fest field trip. We threw out the one in the Northwest, was it Northwest Linux Fest, and then the Ohio Linux Fest. And I think
We could have gone to South by Southwest a couple of weeks ago.
that's not a Linux Fest.
How is South by Southwest not a Linux Fest?
It's a music fest and movie fest. Yeah, Linux
It's a
Fest
tech
Northwest. And then, but that was close to, that was in October, or that's in October. But also Ohio Linux Fest, Mordancy's already there. Lovecraft expressed some interest, didn't you, Lovecraft? Because it's in
Yeah, I mean that's not a terrible drive for me.
not too far from you.
The Northwest is October, and I got a lot of birthdays and
Yeah,
family
you
stuff
had a lot of stuff
about that
going on
time.
there.
Yeah.
Let's make everybody go to Texas Linux Fest in Austin.
Well, that's another option. When was the Ohio Linux? When is the Ohio Linux Fest? Is it December? Or?
I think it was December.
Yeah. What Mordancy, are you still there?
It was the first weekend of December last year, but previous years it's always been in October.
Oh, okay. What do you know?
don't.
What when it's going to be this year?
I don't think I saw a date for this year for that or for the Southeast Linux Fest.
Well, I threw out an idea that it would be cool if at least some of us could go and then set up a table, and we could combine, maybe team up with Midcast or Hacker Public Radio or something like that, and Linux Lugcast, and just have a presence there at one of these Linux fests. I think that would be fun.
Well, the way things are going this year, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford to travel anywhere.
Well, if you can't, it's okay. I mean, you can be a cheerleader from the sidelines, but I was just seeing if anybody else had any interest in going to a fest this year. I do. And Lovecraft said December, maybe the Ohio Linux Fest would be a good time for him. Mordancy lives in Ohio.
I live in Ohio, but I might be going to Thailand in October or November this time
really?
around and spend longer. It depends on my budget and my doctor's appointments.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to throw that out there. See what people think.
By default, I want to go to all of them.
Yeah, of course. And we'll kind of see what the date is for the Ohio Linux Fest. And I don't know. I think it would be fun to have a table there for the Ludcast.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Yeah, let's see when the dates are.
Yeah. And get to meet some new people and chat about Linux. Go to some talks. We talked about maybe even printing up some T-shirts or some swag, stickers and stuff like
Stickers,
that.
yeah. Stickers would be cool.
So that would be fun.
T-shirts.
And at my work, they can print banners and stuff if we wanted like a table banner or something like that. I work for a media company, so yeah.
I definitely can't make it to a fest, but I'd love to try to get some stickers made up. Because, like I told you in the chat, that Hacker Public Radio was represented at FOSDEM in the UK, and they had offered for anybody who was part of the I forget what it was called, the open source creative
Open.
something.
You posted the link. I forgot what it was.
Anybody was part of that group, and we were part of that group. They were promoting all of those podcasts, and offered if we had stickers or anything that they would, put out the stickers. So that would have been cool too to have had the Linux Lugcast represented at FOSDEM.
And if you buy over, I think 1,000 stickers, a lot of the places that print stickers will, you can get them as low as 10, 20 cents a piece when you're doing 1,000 or more.
That's not
Cool.
bad. Be like
Versus
$100
$2 to
for
$5 a
1,000
piece. $2 to $5 a piece when you buy lower numbers of them.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I wonder if we could print them.
We could
I
take all our
can't print
Patreon money and put it into
What's that?
stickers.
What's that?
I can't print them, but I've tried to figure out how you do that. I found somebody who did it where they worked through Tilts before Joe was on Tilts, and never got any information back from him on how would I do it. There's somebody who volunteered to make stickers for some of the podcasts way back when.
So I know there's a paper you can just put into a printer that's like a sticker paper, and then
I
if you
have
could,
that, and I've done that.
and I've had like mixed results with that, where it's the it doesn't stick very well. You want to get something, you want something that's going to stick and stay there for.
They never come
I
off,
think
no
you
matter
never-
what
Exactly.
they do.
I think you need to combine doing a heat laminate over top of it, and then using a Cricut or something like that to do the actual size cutting, or hand cut them.
I was thinking about
Which
those
I was-
giant things, the paper cutters.
Oh, you know what? My hackerspace, they have a vinyl cutter, so we could do like a design instead of just square cut if we wanted to.
I've tried to get people who do vinyl cutting with Cricut or large plotters to give me information. I've asked for help in getting started with it, and all of them have been IT people, women in IT, and they all don't want to talk to me because I'm a white male.
I mean, that's why I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Who wants to talk to white males? I just talk to cats. Well, let me find out what we have at my hackerspace. I may have there may be a large format printer there too. I never really looked at their printing deals. I know they have a vinyl cutter.
Which hackerspace?
The one I'm a member at.
The one I used to go to for.
No, not Dallas Makerspace. The lab.
Okay.
I got my wife a Cricut for Christmas. We haven't really done anything with it yet.
Did you really?
Yeah, I mean, if we can figure out how to, if we can use that to do anything, I have it. So.
Is it a noisy Cricut?
Very noisy. Big, long legs.
Wasn't there a vape called a Cricut or something, Joe?
The noisy Cricut. Men
Is
in
that what it
Black.
was?
Yes.
So that's what she gave you, a vape?
That's not a vape.
It was a
It's
vape.
gun.
It's a gun?
The
Men in
noisy
Black.
Cricut from Men in Black.
Oh. What am I thinking of? Is there a vape called a Cricut or something? I don't know. I remember the noisy Cricut that you talked about.
Don't know what you've been smoking, but
Yeah. Me neither.
I had an interesting experience this week.
And
Tell
I
us
have-
about it.
I ordered a book called Conrad's Time Machine from Amazon. It's supposed to come last Sunday. Then I got a notification it's going to come on Tuesday. And it showed up on Monday. So my book on time machines was late and early at the same time.
Excellent.
So do you think there was some time manipulation going on that caused this incident?
No, I think it's just the usual Murphy. Oh, I also got an interesting letter for my brother. They're trying to make it safe for Joe to go to the VA.
I went to the VA yesterday.
Yes, did you see anybody assaulting anybody or sexually harassing you?
Believe
Or
me,
any-
nobody's going to sexually harass Joe.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I haven't been sexually harassed at the VA.
Yeah, well, they're spending lots of money sending out stop harassment at the VA.
And I'm not sure that they would get the reaction that they'd expect.
You'd be actually into it, wouldn't you?
Who knows? And you don't harass people at the VA, man.
That's the
I don't
wrong
care
place.
how old they look. They're probably dangerous.
That's such a weird campaign. So people were really being harassed at the VA? Sexually harassed?
No, it's the modern army buzzwords, you know. This is Kathy's got two mommies. Army. VA Intimate Partner Violence Assistance Program, Women's Veterans Health Care, Military Sexual Trauma, Veterans Crisis Line, Stop Harassment.
I think that's for people in the military, not people, you know, or that got harassed in the military. Because that's a different story. Because you don't harass people at the VA. They don't care. They're old, they hurt, they'll kill you.
Yeah, well, I got this this letter was the letter that this came in was addressed to my brother, who hasn't been in VA for probably 30 years.
And I was going to mention, I haven't vaped since December.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that you weren't vaping. Well, was that tough?
It sucked.
Cold turkey?
I still get cravings, yeah.
I was about
one
to
day
ask,
I
do you
just
still
said,
crave it?
yeah, I do still get hard cravings. And basically, like, the weekend before Christmas, I said I'm a non-smoker and quit. I smoked
Really?
until about 3 a.m. and then I went to bed and woke up and then I just.
You
Most
didn't want to
people
try just like cutting.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, why did you try like cutting back
I
on
did.
the nicotine just so
I did.
like just
multiple
slowly
times.
dropping it down?
And all that really did for me was like extend out the torture. And then I just, you know, I'd end up adding back in the nicotine just to be done with it. And I mean, I haven't even grabbed like the zero nicotine stuff or anything like that. I just said, fuck it, I'm done.
Most people I know that have quit have done it just cold turkey. They didn't have any kind of like
play
dialing
around.
it down or anything. No. I remember my mom quit when I had told her that, well, this is what she told me. that because I was too young, but she said one time I told her that I didn't want to hug her because she smelled like cigarettes or something like that. And she said as soon as she heard that, she just quit cold turkey after smoking for years.
That was 24 years.
That's a long time. But you're still smoking crack, right? Just not
Probably, yeah. Maybe.
vaping.
I don't know. I
Fentanyl
smoke
and
too
all that
much
stuff.
crack to know if I smoke crack.
Well, good for you, man.
Somebody I work
Yeah.
with got a vehicle at a police auction recently, and it had a crack pipe in it.
Oh, great.
There you go. They did a good job cleaning it out.
So now you got to convince you know who to stop too, right, Joe?
That's not going to happen. I mean, I tried to get her to switch to vaping, but
They got to want to do it before they're going to do it. That goes with everybody. Nobody going to quit until they actually want to.
My favorite was when I had friends who would quit smoking and they just basically quit buying cigarettes, not actually quitting smoking.
Yeah, I know. There's a guy at my work that was like that. And my coworker would go outside and smoke, and this guy was like, "Hey, man, you got a cigarette?" I thought you quit. Yeah, I quit. I quit buying them. Just bumming them. Or he'd bring a pipe to work and smoke on a pipe, Even though, yeah, I quit smoking. I'm still smoking this pipe though. Smoking cigars, just not cigarettes.
Over the years, pipes, rollies, filtered, unfiltered.
I used to smoke, but for me, it wasn't really the cigarette. It was more like when I drank and stuff. I would have to have a cigarette with my beer or liquor or whatever. But that's when I used to drink a lot. I hardly ever drink now, so I haven't smoked a cigarette in probably 5 or 6 years. And even then, back I wasn't really a smoker. But in my 20s, I was a big time smoker, especially in college.
See, I always just really liked the taste of the tobacco, which, I mean, I would have been perfectly happy with something that had like no nicotine in it, but that had that same tobacco flavor.
I like the little buzz you got.
Well, all of my e-juice, it's really hard to mimic a tobacco flavor, and I never found one that tasted like anything other than flowers. So I just switched to the fruitier flavors and made my own.
I see. That's the one thing I couldn't do with a lot of the vaping is a lot of the times it was stuff that didn't taste like tobacco. I liked the taste. I liked cigars. I really enjoyed cigars. It was difficult with cigars because when I was smoking cigars, I was smoking cigarettes, so I always wanted to inhale it all the time. But so I was really making a conscious effort. I love the smell. I've never actually smoked a pipe before, but pipe tobacco smells great in my opinion. I love the smell of pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
Then again, there's so many times that or so many people I've seen or known who have been pipe tobacco smokers who faces is permanently stuck like this. So that was kind of like a little, the more you know type warning, public service announcement, not to smoke on a pipe. So I never did, but I always loved the smell of it.
Now, let me ask you guys this. How hard would it be for you to quit caffeine?
It's next on my list to cut back on. I don't know about quitting, but
no,
I've done it before for like a week or two here and there, just to make it so that I'm get a decent buzz off of caffeine again. I do get the headaches, and this next time I do it, it'll probably suck. But I'm not gonna completely quit caffeine.
Just cut it down some.
For a couple of weeks.
Now, could you drink decaffeinated coffee? Would that be a good substitute?
It kind of seems, a bit masturbatorial. Granted, I do that too, but I really don't see the point in in drinking decaffeinated coffee.
I like the way it tastes. I just like the way coffee tastes. I mean,
I'm with you.
especially
do
when
decaf.
it's cold outside or early in the morning. It's great.
I like my coffee black.
I do
Right.
too.
It would have to be like a good decaf that like still tastes like coffee.
Hmm.
That's the hard part.
But why would I want to quit caffeine?
Just a
Oh, it's
question.
healthier for you. Yeah, if it was pushing up my blood pressure and it was a problem, then I'd worry about it. But it's not pushing up my blood pressure. My blood pressure's freaking perfect. So I will drink coffee if I freaking want to.
Yeah, I guess that would be the only problem if you had high blood pressure or something.
Right.
Trying to get that down. Stay
Right.
away from sodium and caffeine and stuff.
But I love coffee.
I do too, man. And I really didn't come into coffee until my late 30s or so. And once I did, there's no going back. I love it.
Were you a tea drinker before, or were you
It's
just
just
like
sodas,
sodas?
Yeah, but never, because I in the mornings I always drink just orange juice or whatever. But I don't know why I started drinking coffee, but once I did, I love it. And I was never a coffee snob either, and I've always drank it black, and just any kind of coffee is good to me. But now I like to drink kind of the higher end coffees, good quality coffees.
Look, when I was in the military, and no, I'm not proud of this. We used to take the packets, the instant coffee packets, and use them like dip.
Wow, really? Did you get a nicotine buzz?
Oh, no, you get.
A caffeine buzz?
Get a caffeine buzz from that.
I never even thought about that. I guess you could. Now, when I was a kid, I really thought it was cool to drink those high caffeine sodas, like I was doing some kind of hardcore drug or something, like Jolt. And stuff like that.
And now people would laugh at the caffeine content in Jolt.
I'm sure, yeah.
Probably. We always seem to fall down into the same rabbit holes, don't we?
Jolt, call it caffeine pills.
Caffeine, Jolt, coffee, some sort of a drink, some sort of food.
I got it in the notes. Caffeine talk.
Caffeine talk.
You might as well just leave that in the notes.
At this point, it's our version of CPAP talk.
And mobility scooter talk and CPAP chat and all that.
That's right.
Yeah. I just got like the VA changed how they do their CPAP stuff, so I had to call Oklahoma, and then they had to call Chicago to get it sent to me here in Texas. And I got a year's worth of supplies, but they even changed how they do the year's worth of supplies. Normally, a year's worth would get me it would get me 12 cushions, but only 2 masks. And so now it's getting me 4 masks and 16 cushions to order a year's worth. So I should be good.
That'll last you a year. Right? Yeah. Have you seen that device on the commercials now? It's an inpatient procedure, and it does something where you push a button and opens up your. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? It's for.
There are a couple of different ones. There's this one where you get it. It's not an inpatient procedure, but you get an electrical diode, basically that runs up to the soft palate, and there's a little battery.
Does it have like a little remote
in
control?
Your jaw? Yeah, it would have a remote control, but you'd rub a charger, a wireless charger against it, and there'd be like a capacitor that would last 8 hours or whatever. And it just basically, you use the remote to turn it on, and it electrically stimulates the soft palate to keep it from falling down. And so if you have that obstructive apnea, it would help correct that.
Inspire. That's what I was thinking about. I'll put it in the notes.
But there's also another commercial that they used to have where it was just a basically a little charged nasal device where you would hook it on your nose and it would just sit on your nose, and it would blow air up there, but I don't know how well any of those would work,
This
considering
says
the amount of pressure that's required.
Inspire is an alternative
Well-
CPAP that works inside your body while you sleep. It's a small device placed during a same-day outpatient procedure. When you're ready for bed, simply click the remote to turn Inspire on. While you're asleep, Inspire opens your airway, allowing you to breathe normally and sleep peacefully.
Yeah, it's gotta stimulate the soft palate somehow, but as an inpatient procedure, I don't know.
Outpatient procedure.
Or outpatient procedure,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Doesn't say, like, what it is, though. Oh, how does Inspire work? It delivers mild stimulation to key airway muscles.
Electricity in your mouth, yeah.
Obstructive sleep apnea, hopeless. Then Mike found a treatment. Is a small body with 2 small incisions in a
So it has 2 incisions where they put the device. It looks like it's in your chest, actually, with the wire that runs up to your palate.
same-day outpatient
Like you were
procedure.
saying, Joe.
After the procedure, Mike works with his doctor to fine-tune his Inspire. Once it's fine-tuned, Mike simply clicks the remote to turn on Inspire and goes down to sleep. While Mike is asleep, Inspire monitors his breathing. Every time he takes a breath, a gentle pulse moves the tongue out of the way and keeps Mike breathing freely. And more importantly, sleeping soundly, the way he used to. This has been a total game changer for Mike. Mike is getting more out of life and back to...
I'll just close the tab.
Well,
Okay.
I know a lot of guys that have a lot of trouble getting used to the CPAP machine. Like they're saying that even after 6 months of trying, they're still yanking it off their face and things.
So
But
this
there
says
are other things that you can try, even other than this.
it monitors your breathing. Each time you take a breath, it stimulates your palate and moves your tongue out of the way. That's how it works.
Moves your tongue out of the way.
Yeah.
Electrical stimulation directly on the muscles that forces it, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Nope.
But, I mean, instead, you could just put in a mouthpiece that forces your lower jaw forward. That would do the exact same thing. I know a lot of people that swear by just taping their mouth shut at night.
Really?
Yeah, well, you got to do it a certain way so that way you can still breathe like through your lips if you absolutely have to, like if you have allergies in the middle of the night or something like that. But essentially, what you're doing is you're taping your mouth shut so that you're forced to breathe through your nose.
My problem with that is, that, yeah, my nasal passages are all screwed up anyway, so that's not going to help me.
Right.
I tried initially when I tried one of the nasal pillows because I thought that was going to be easier, but after doing that for a little while, I'm like, nope, give me the full mask. I gotta have the full face mask because if you open your mouth when you're doing stuff like that, it just like that weird suction of all the air. Nope, just give me the full thing. Place it there.
You open your mouth and it's shooting up your nose and then out your mouth and
yes, the weird windmill inside you.
Well, I've had a couple of the different full faces, like one that the nose, and then I have one where the cushion went up against the nose, but it also went around the mouth, and that one was usable.
I like something that just covers up completely because that's I mean just over the nose. The problem is I have a deviated septum right here, so occasionally if it's sitting like right here on top of it, it closes up that nostril, and it's just I have a hard time breathing altogether. I need something that's going to sit like up here and then.
No, I've seen ones also where it has like a clear front, but it goes like around the eyeballs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could do that one. Now I understand that the pressure would just be there and it wouldn't actually be blowing against my eyeballs or anything. But I still think that would freaking trip me out.
Right. I feel like it would be good because I feel like it would fit right on my face and I would get the air that I need. But you're right. The whole idea of it being right there in your face and over your eyes is kind of trippy.
Yeah. And the only thing I really liked about
He's
the
like
ones
Bane.
that butted up against butted up against my nose and then went around my mouth is that I could put my glasses on. And that, I want to fall asleep watching TV, or I want to read for a few minutes before going to bed. I don't have to take everything off. I could just put the glasses on. But they wore out too quick, so I ended up switching back to a full face.
That part that went around that was supposed to go around the nose never seemed to line up right for me.
Well, yeah, I also had some of the ones that were just the nose ones, but I just never could get into them.
Right.
I would almost have to, at that point, get one of the slings where you put it around your head to hold your freaking mouth closed.
Oh yeah, I couldn't do that.
I put a link to this micro CPAP that just goes in your nose. Have y'all seen that?
I had mentioned that earlier. Like, I don't know how they could possibly provide enough pressure over an 8-hour period, considering how small they are and how small the battery would be. And
I'm at their Indiegogo page, and they have.
Yeah, well, they've been Indiegogo for a couple of years now.
Yeah, since 2015. 8 years ago, and they said they've raised about $2 million, and it still says the project team has not yet produced a working demo for their concept. And that was 8 years ago that they started this.
Well, just look at how small that thing. How is that going to push air for 8 hours?
I think it's just a scam.
Yep. Is Indiegogo the platform for buying a medical device? I mean, that's.
It is for some people.
Well, I don't think they're the only ones selling this style of device. I think that there was another company that actually has a micro CPAP on the market, and I'm still sure it's a freaking scam.
All right, we're hitting 1 o'clock EST. Do we want to? Is there anything more Linuxy that we want to talk about? We joked about CPAP talk.
And
when we were talking about the caffeine
talk.
When we were talking about caffeine, there used to be a website I used to go to called Caffeine Addict, and then they changed it to something else, and then Caffeine Aficionado, and now it's something Caffeine Informer, and I posted that in the link in the everything caffeine. I posted it under the talking about caffeine.
Would you have any problem quitting caffeine, Mordancy?
I did. I quit before I knew I had cancer. I had stopped for 3 or 4 months.
Was it hard?
No, I have a strong will. It actually took an entire month before I got my withdrawal migraine.
Really?
Yeah, I actually can get a migraine now in about a day or two, because I don't drink that much caffeine anymore.
What quantities were you drinking at the time?
Probably over 1,000 milligrams a day.
A gram of caffeine.
Six large Red Bull plus other caffeinated beverages. Coffee. I mean, Death Wish coffee is 300 milligrams a cup.
I'm not taking in that much. I'm doing maybe 500, maybe, and that's still a lot.
And my blood pressure is fine. My heartbeat is fine. I'll drink several Red Bulls before doctor's appointments, or I used to. But nothing. All fine.
Where did you?
Caffeine.
I'm posting a story right below your link, Warranty, of this lady that died from drinking. How much did she drink? 10 liters of Coca-Cola every day, and that was about a gram of caffeine.
No.
I used to drink 5 2-liters a day.
Yeah, that's 5 2-liters. You used to drink that much soda? Are you serious?
Daily for years, yeah.
Holy cow.
I think when everybody switched from sugar to high fructose corn syrup, it was the high fructose corn syrup that damaged my liver when I was younger. I was going jaundice, and the doctors didn't know why.
Well, there are people that will buy like caffeine powder and then
You
mix
can't get it. You can't get it. You can't get it in the U.S. anymore. I have caffeine powder. I have caffeine powder. I get it from Europe now, but from Bulk Vitamin Company. You can as a business. You can't as a private person. It used to be able to buy it in bulk on Amazon.
The reason you can't buy it is because people were screwing up their measurements, and you're supposed to be measuring it out in milligrams, and they were accidentally measuring it out in grams and dying.
No. The reason for it is the same reason for ephedra being ephedra was legally banned. Caffeine was soft banned in the U.S. Everybody is scared to sell it to the public. In both instances, ephedra was a high school football player in Hilliard, Ohio, who died after downing an entire bottle of ephedra before a football game.
Holy cow! That's a lot of ephedra.
That was
because people are stupid.
That was in 1991, I think. And then the caffeine powder going off the market in the U.S. is because 2 kids in Ohio were taking the powdered caffeine and eating spoonfuls of it. and each spoonful can be 1 or more grams. Yeah.
What's going on in
Ohio? I don't remember if they got sick or if they died.
No, because there was one guy. I think last year before, it was in the news that it had measured it out wrong because he'd measured it in grams instead of milligrams and died.
Yeah, measuring it out wrong is one thing, but no, this was kids trying to eat as much as they could, and it was in Ohio, and it is the specific thing that got it banned.
Still got people doing it with pre-workout.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, you'll have it with. I'm sure you have people doing it with no-dose and whatever the other one is, over the counter. But that's expensive.
Yeah, but they're snorting that shit.
So it still trips me out that you would drink 10 liters of soda a day. How did you even do that? Like, how could you get that much fluid down you?
Where did you put all of it?
Yeah. That's like, I looked it up, that's about 28 cans of soda.
I worked in two restaurants, so I had 2 full-time jobs. So I worked open to close every day but Sunday. I mean, I was working hard work all day, every day. So in the restaurant, I would literally chug pitchers of fountain drinks. You know, the pitchers that they bring to the table. I would have one in the kitchen, and that's what I drank out of.
You were just back there with a pitcher instead of a cup?
With free refills, yeah. Yeah, I mean, while I was working, I would just go fill it, go back, I'd drink it while I was working.
This lady had so much, it was so bad that it said that she had to have all her teeth pulled. She was only 30 years old because of it took all the enamel off her teeth. And she had a kid that was born without enamel on its teeth, too. That's so much.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense, don't it?
That's crazy.
All right, I'm sharing my screen and I'm showing you that.
So they actually sell these?
Hold on, because they're showing this on Amazon. A micro CPAP device, stop snoring for men and women, and I want you to look at the rating on this. It is an absolutely massive rating, 7,913 ratings, 5 stars. But you know what? I'm gonna click here. Good quality. We have used this on our baby since she was a newborn. Very easy to use. Our baby doesn't even know we're trimming her nails.
Oh my God.
Super soft and fits diaper pad well as a cover. Enjoy the color of the sand and the softness. We use these to cover a standard diaper pad for a changing table. They're easy to put on and take off. We need to wash them, especially if an accident happens, which is super common with a newborn.
Why does Amazon allow this?
Well, somebody did a swap of some kind.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Like, eventually, Amazon will see it. But what happened is that there was this company, brand Tuhimo, whatever, was selling something that sold really well, and they sold a whole bunch of it
for babies.
And then they swapped out the description and everything with this and just kept all of the reviews to make it look like this thing was really well reviewed.
No, there's some reviews with images.
Yeah.
Also, barcode numbers
1 star.
can pull up. Barcodes can be assigned to multiple devices. I tried to buy a barcode scanner, USB barcode scanner, and I got a DVD, and both products had the same barcode number. So when they were entered into Amazon, it pulled up the first one that was in the database. However, they sort and pull that, but it's not a unique identifier.
Look at this.
But this looks like a scam.
This person said, I bought this
This
item
sucks.
because it had 7,800 reviews with 5 stars. I gave it 1 star. Don't buy this anti-snoring device.
Yeah.
Maybe read the reviews before you actually buy. Oh, there's what they were actually selling before. What is that?
Right. It's a baby pad of some kind for changing.
Some kind of baby changing pad.
Yeah,
Well.
the changing pad.
Oh, well. Well, we've gone off the path quite a ways now. From caffeine to CPAP to baby changing pads to fake Amazon reviews.
Man, there's a bunch of these things here.
Right?
You guys that are listening really need to watch the stream to see what this insanity.
I'm
But
scrolling through Amazon right now, looking at these mini CPAP micro. They're called micro CPAP devices, and the one device that they have repeated over and over again. Here's the second one. They have it at different prices, and you can see just the older the listing is, the worse the review is, and the newer it is, the better it is, because they've all swapped it out with something, and you can tell that they're all freaking garbage. And then there's a much bigger one with 2.5 star rating. Anti-snoring devices upgrade fogging mode with 3-speed wind adjustment and fixing strap for men and women.
Now look at the pictures. How big is that thing really? Oh, yeah. It's a lot bigger.
It's a whole lot bigger. But that's definitely, a real picture and not shopped. I'm going to say right there. Oh, and it's got 3 gears. And you can put water in it. Just like a real CPAP machine.
Well, that's how you get the fogging mode.
I wonder if you could put e-juice in there.
Well, yes, you can, because it's the exact same thing. There's a heating element, and it vaporizes it, and it blows it in your face. So yes, you can. You don't have to stop at night.
I don't want a vape. I want a e-juice CPAP.
Here's a review. If you have a nose, this product will not fit over it. What a joke. Useless garbage. This is not a CPAP. It is not similar to a CPAP. It's false advertising that they say so. This is a small nose mask with 2 small fans inside of it and a micro humidifier. With it on, I can't get enough air to breathe properly. It doesn't fit to begin with. The nose area is too shallow, and every exhale blows air out the top and into my eyes. It has a small goggle-type strap to hold it on. No way that it would stay in place for an entire night, even if it did function properly. Don't waste your time or money.
Now, there are no good reviews for this, like legitimate 5-star reviews, are there?
Let me see if there's any 5-star reviews. Oh, there's one. It helped clear my nose. It helped my 10-year-old son sleep when he had a cold. My son tends to not be able to sleep whenever his nose gets clogged. This helped him a lot. He was able to sleep more comfortably.
So there's one.
They were paid.
I guess if you have
likely.
a cold.
So if you want to get more Linuxy stuff, just check our Reddit. That's a place where we normally Normally we would talk about the wonderful Linuxy things that were posted in our Reddit, but instead we've gone down the rabbit hole of caffeine, CPAT machines. We started with movies like we normally do, but
we should have had Joel on to talk about his house.
Right, that's about all we're missing right now is Joel's
we turned
house.
into tilts.
It is too damn late to be pushing anymore.
Have to call this one.
I still got to go to work tomorrow, so
Oh boy.
I have to go block walking tomorrow.
Block walking?
Yeah. Politics.
Canvassing?
Yes.
Are you running again?
No.
Okay.
Your friend is.
I wouldn't call him a friend, but he's running.
All right, Hunky, you need to go to bed.
I do. All right.
Mordancy.
What was that?
Why did that go through Jitsi?
Or was that Netminer or was that you?
Sounded like Netminer.
Well, I believe that I blocked everything.
Oh yeah, it is Netminer.
Do you have Jitsi muted?
Mm-mm.
Oops.
Was this part being recorded, or did we stop after we said goodnight?
No, we're still
We
recording.
haven't said goodnight yet.
We haven't said
I had to
goodnight.
bring the thing back up.
Mordancy, could you send me a copy of that story that you were talking about?
What story was I talking about?
Your friend?
The steampunk.
Oh,
yeah.
The steampunk. Yeah. I'll I don't have a copy of it yet.
I want to read it too.
I'd like to say I have time to read it.
Once Honky says it's not recording, I'll tell you something else that's going on with my friend.
Okay.
Kill the recording.
Yep. Oh, hold on. So our next recording date will be April 21st, 2023. Our music is downright provided by Cloud2 and Brome. Finally, we'd like to thank Delwyn for the use of his Mumble server. Finally, we'd like to give a special thanks to Father Finch, Weeb, Dave Morris, and Tony Bemis for all their help and support over the years. I've been your host for this evening, Honky Magoo. With us tonight has been Joe.
Good night.
Lovecraft.
Good night. Happy Easter if you guys are doing Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter. Lugbot.
Oh.
Good night, jackass.
That seems to be where this episode's going. Minnix.
Good night, everybody. Have a good Easter weekend and stay safe.
Mordancy.
Eastern Orthodox Easter is next weekend. This Wednesday was Passover. And good night, everyone.
And Netminer.
Good night.
I want to say good night to Cherry Hill Tony.
Good night, Tony.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I gotta stop it too. Where's the...